Hello, today I would like to tell you about the Ratchet & Clank game series. It should be noted that currently the series includes about 15 games released on different consoles. However, in this video I will discuss only the first 3 entries released on PlayStation 2. The first of them is called simply Ratchet & Clank. The second game is known under different titles: Ratchet & Clank 2, Ratchet & Clank Going Commando, and Ratchet & Clank 2 Locked and Loaded. The third game also has several names: Ratchet & Clank 3 or Ratchet & Clank Up Your Arsenal. I decided not to make separate reviews on each of those games, but joined them in one big video, because all of them are united by a common design and realize approximately the same elements. Thus, everything I am going to say will refer to all 3 games. If any of my remarks appertains only to one of the games, I will say so. And now let's get to the point. Ratchet & Clank are high-quality platformers which feature annihilation of enemies through the use of fantastic types of weapons. The games boast interesting stories, perfectly written dialogues, and astonishing gameplay. The story begins on a distant planet where the character named Ratchet lives. One wonderful day he sees a spaceship crash near his workshop and hurries to check what happened. It turns out that the only passenger of the crashed spaceship is the little robot named Clank. Clank tells Ratchet that a group of planets are in horrible danger and they must go and save them. Rescue of a galaxy is more or less what our heroes are going to do throughout all 3 games, although every time they will confront new evil. How will we fight the all-galaxy evil? Jumping on enemies, pushing them over the edge, or maybe hitting with the legs and arms? No, in this platformer we will deal with foes using rocket launchers, laser rifles, automatic turrets, a flamethrower, acid bombs, a lightning gun, and other types of weapons appertaining to the time of interstellar travels. To make our character even stronger, developers added the feature of health upgrade, and starting from the second game we will be able to upgrade weapons and buy armor. It may seem that those upgrades will make us excessively strong, but actually you will be happy to get those, because the enemies will grow stronger fast, and by the end of the game you will need all power-ups to survive. Gameplay itself will include flying from one planet to another, completing missions and killing the aliens. We can return to already visited planets in order to gather secrets, bolts, it is local currency, or simply to upgrade the character and the weapons. For the most of the game we will be controlling Ratchet. However, there will be missions in which we will play as Clank. Plus, the games feature quite original minigames, whose completion opens sealed doors or activates some systems. The point of those games is to arrange laser beams, shoot or collect spheres, and so on. The Clank missions and the minigames are not too difficult, nor too simple, nor too frequent, and nor too rare. Thus, they diversify shooting the aliens greatly. I was truly pleased by the presence of special arenas right inside the story walkthrough. They appear from the second game and offer fighting against the waves of the enemies. And this is quite good stuff. Firstly, having completed a contest you may get a new item or bolts. Secondly, it is simply funny. The developers made the arenas so that circumstances are constantly changing. That is not something particularly innovative, but great anyway. Therefore, even the hardest contest, comprising 100 consecutive waves, I completed with great pleasure. Apart from that, depending on the game you play, there will be classic two-dimensional scenes, anti-aircraft turret scenes, shootouts on spacecrafts, races on a hoverboard, rail grinding scenes, and even tasks of simply killing everything alive in the vicinity. Of course, one should not forget about the distinctive feature of the Ratchet & Clank games – humor. So, the game is about the rescue of the galaxy. So, it is difficult, but it is hilarious, and about half of all dialogues in the game made me smile. Another advantage of the games is the opportunity to take your upgraded character with all his weapons into the second walkthrough. I was also pleased by the fact that in the second and the third Ratchet & Clank games we can transfer some of the weapons from the previous games. That is, if you have already completed the first and the second games and you have save files, then having started the third game you will be able to use the weapons from the previous games. To summarize, Ratchet and Clank are some of the best platformers which people use to measure other games. Lots of shooting, plus pretty graphics, plus good gameplay, plus funny atmosphere is always good, and I advise you to experience it yourself. If you do not own PlayStation 2, you can play these games on PlayStation 3 in HD. And the last piece of advice. All Ratchet and Clank games are great, and basically there is no difference which game to play the first. However, I suggest you starting with the second or the third, because they feature much better controls than the first one. Moreover, they are more dynamic. If you want to get a wider view of the games, you may watch an hour-long fragment of gameplay available on my channel. Links for demonstrative gameplay and complete walkthroughs can be found in the description below the video. See you later.
Alright, fellas, nice and tight now. So you tested this, right? Oh, wait, that's why I'm here. Oh, one more thing.